I made this tutorial for Patrick to maybe show a way where he can solve his problem a little easier than copying files individually. So the first thing I'd like you to do is go up to Program Setup and go down to Image Categories and set up an image category called Records Prior to TDO and put it as in the order of number 2, so it always comes up to the top. So now you have an image category called Records Prior to TDO. Now what I've done is tried to simulate what you have on your hard drive. So if I go to a thumb drive, an external thumb drive, and I go down to a folder that I've created called Historical Patient Records, and in that is a hierarchical folder structure, just like you have on yours. And if you go into any of these, I've put images in each one. So you can see, and then I have a folder called in my name, because these are by names, and these are all of the historical images that are similar to yours on your terabyte drive that you have. So the question is, how do you get these into the appropriate patient's record? Well, there's a way you can kind of trick TDO by putting this in your libraries. So let's go to my library. And in my library, I've created a folder, you know how to do that, called Historical Patient Records. I've made it AAE, so it always comes up, AAA, so it always comes up near the top of the library. Then what I want to do is I want to take my folder structure from my thumb drive and bring them in to the Historical Patient Record library. So the way I would do that is I simply take this folder with all of the hierarchical structure of my historical patient records, and I just take that, click on it, and drag it over to the library of historical patient records. And now this will copy that entire hierarchical file structure, all of the folders. So after it is finished copying all those files over into your library historical patient record folder, you can expand that folder, and inside of it will be what you copied over from my thumb drive. When I expand this, I can see that all of those folders have been copied, and then when I go through them, I can see that they have stayed in the proper folder. These are the ones I copied into my drive. Now I can go back to patients. And so now how to get the historical pictures that I have into my record. I will go to my record. This is my record. Go to current patient, and then split the organizer into 2. You know how to do that. Click on Organize. It splits the organizer into 2. And on the bottom part, I will go to the library and go to my AA Historical Patient Records, expand it, and now I have access to that whole file structure, and I'll go to the patient that we're working with, that's mine, and then I just take these, select them all, and drag them into my record. And it will ask me, where do I want to put these and under what tooth? You have to have a tooth number. And what I will do is I will put them in the category that I had selected, records prior to TDO. I'll have to select a tooth number. I don't think the tooth number is important. And then you just say OK. And it will transfer all of those records into TDO. After the images have transferred, you'll have to switch patients and come back to the patient because it needs to do a complete refresh. But after you've come back to the record. If I go into categories, let me make this full screen first. If I go into categories and go down to records prior to TDO, there you can see all of those images are in. So it's one way where you can get images from a folder directory on another drive into the proper patient. So I hope this helps a little bit in transferring those files.